Hi, it's with Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to sort of go on a personal trip. We'll talk about some I suppose personal issues, at least from the past. There was, I dated sort of years ago, dated quite a few girls and ladies, and was surprised when I saw this a little while ago when I saw one of them is actually one of the top 3 or 4 executives in one of the biggest international banking corporations. Now, a quick online search is that her salary is $2.5 million a year, plus the stock options and all sorts of other benefits bring it to over $4 million a year. So now, this is something that's like there's a certain wow factor here, because when I first met her, she was like a receptionist, and was certainly no genius, far from it, and so didn't look too bad. But she came on to me. We're at some it was like a financial industry sort of cocktail party thing, and she sort of came on to me and said that she was getting divorced, and would I like to have a bit of lunch or something. And so given that she tried, I wasn't really that interested, but given she tried so hard, I thought, oh well, and you have to admire effort. And so we went out had lunch, then she called me up and said, let's sort of go out again, and I wasn't really that keen, so I wasn't going to call her. And then she called me again after that. So, I mean, it wasn't like we were a hot and happening sort of item or anything like that. But she, but I sort of said, no, look, I'm not really interested, and wished her well. Around that time, though, she got the bank. She worked at a bank at the time as again a junior sort of admin, receptionist type person. The bank was having this big shake-up that they wanted to put women in management positions. So instead of putting women in legitimate management positions, they just created new sort of fake management jobs and then put women in that. So she was, the deputy assistant junior vice president or some bullshit title they created. But they actually were paying the sort of money that a senior role would get paid. So they weren't keeping her on receptionist wages. They were giving her, so her wages increased by 500% overnight, and she got put into one of these. Well, her job was just running around delivering letters and things like that. She had actually no responsibility, but her pay suddenly increased, and then they gave her a clothing allowance so she could wear designer label clothes and look sharp and get her hair done every day, things like that. So she had this very generous expense account, and it was the third or fourth time that I saw her. She's telling me how she's glad she got divorced, because her husband was the sort of guy who would marry a receptionist, and she was now a big time player, a heavy hitter, and she needed a man to match her newfound status, which is something a lot of women do, by the way. So, and she then indicated that I was of a satisfactory status to warrant her attentions. And so, but anyway, it didn't, bottom line is I just didn't find her attractive, or not sufficiently so. There was sort of nothing really sexy about her, I thought. That's only my view. Other men may see it differently. So that was her. And then sort of I hadn't seen her for years and many years, decades type thing. And she then popped up that she's one of the most senior banking executives in the fucking world on a multi-gazillion dollar salary, and that's so I found it intriguing. Now, if you'd known her, this is a receptionist and not a very bright. If her IQ was even 100, I'd be surprised. Anyway, I was able to get she did an interview somewhere, and one of the Australian like current affairs type programs, and she's being touted as, you know, breaking the glass ceiling and stunning and brave and all that sort of thing. And I wouldn't call her a total moron, but she's, again, you know, an IQ of 100 tops an IQ of 100. So and she was doing this interview, and she'd clearly been prepped by the media department of the bank, and she still sounded like a fucking moron. So I was at that. That's just sort of one example. Now that's affirmative action. Now I should add that no one's paying me $4 million a year, nor have they ever. So I'm feeling a little hard done by. Hey, where's my $4 million a year salary? But anyway, that's that. Now it gets better. Again, you know, the job I was in, I sort of was doing a lot of cocktail party circuit type stuff, and there's a lot of women who go to these things that are a socialite class, and they have exquisite manners, and they're able to engage in small talk to a level of professionalism that I never was able to master, or not to that extent anyway. And I thought I wasn't doing too bad, but some of these women, some of the men too, were in a class of their own, and they come from money, and they've been born into money, and they're very comfortable with this. Anyway, I was introduced to this woman by some other people I know, and apparently she'd asked to be introduced to me, and so we. She was fairly, in fact, very keen to get horizontal, and I mean, she's all right, I suppose, but she was just so keen and zealous that I sort of succumbed a couple of times. But again, I wasn't really that carried away with her. But so we went on a few dates, you know, and I just said, look, it's not happening, but thanks very much. She interestingly said, look, you know, okay, I get it that you don't find me that attractive. You know, I understand that, but you've got to understand, Billy Bob, she fixes me with a determined gaze, that I'm super well connected into the you know, the upper class socialite or the socialite class, and there are certain jobs, prestigious, well-paid jobs, that only this class gives out. You know, you don't see them advertised in, you know, the online job board or something like that. This is the gigs that are only given out through the patronage, the socialite patronage system. So if you get with me, and, you know, if you marry me, then, you know, you'll have access to these things, and I can make sure you do. You know, there are people I can telephone, and I can insist, well, look, you've got to give my new husband Billy Bob a well-paid gig, and it has to be prestigious and involving lots of overseas travel to exotic locations and yada yada. So she then puts that forward. That's her pitch. So, you know, get with me, and you'll never need to worry about money again, and so on. So I really didn't appreciate the idea of being an object and being something that could be bought and sold, you know, like that. And apart from that, I was doing all right under, you know, through my own sort of hard work and ingenuity. But she was right though. Those sort of jobs are only jobs that the glitterati and the socialites have access to. And if you're not part of their scene, you know, you've got a 0.1% chance of getting an entree into that. But anyway, so again, now she's welcome. This is not affirmative action. This is just socialite connection. But just a little while ago, I saw that she's the executive vice president of marketing for one of the biggest firms in the world, and again, a multi-gazillion dollar pay packet. That's two. Now, out of all the people that you're lucky to even meet one person who ends up playing in that league. So I'm going two already, but it gets better. So this is again a lady that I dated a few times, and you know, didn't. This one wasn't a moron, but she just seemed to be a nervous wreck. She just would have these. I don't think I've ever met someone as anxious as she is, and where she was keen enough, you know, I'd come out of the front of the office at the end of the day, and she'd be in a car down there, and she'd suddenly, you know, scream up in the car and say, "Quick, get in!" and again was very keen for horizontal activity. So, but I didn't work for me. She was just too nervous, anxious, and jumpy, and so on. Wasn't actually that bad looking. There was something quite sexy about it. But anyway, so that didn't happen, and I was at a function a little while ago, and I saw this sort of woman across there. Oh, I know her from. Where do I know her from? And bingo, that was that lady, and so she's, oh yeah, that's the the director of a large government public service department. I mean, she's, like with benefits and shit thrown in, she'd be pushing $1 million a year. I think. I don't know how somebody like her, because I don't think she's changed that. It's just looking at her, she still seems to be not as anxious as she was then, but still. So it staggers me that she could get in such a senior role in that sort of state. So that probably is. Well, that probably is. It is definitely affirmative action. Now here's another one. Here's a lady who she was like a sort of a junior entry level sales rep for one of the an IT firm, you'd say, and she was pretty keen, and we just had a few dates. It didn't really. I didn't think she was that. She thought she was really hot, but I thought, no, I don't think I could get all horned up over you. So it didn't go anywhere with it. But she ended up as one of the biggest IT firms in the world, and she's an executive vice president. Again, on a multi-gazillion dollar, but she got an affirmative action sort of promotion, and I wouldn't say she was a moron necessarily. She's very devious, and there's something quite devious and cunning about her, which was off-putting. The extent of it, she always trying to manipulate. And another one that dumped her husband. He's a receptionist husband. I'm a big important person now, so I have to get rid of him. One of those. So when I look at all these, and I'm thinking, holy crap! I've dated like 5 multi-gazillionaire, or people that ended up as multi-gazillionaires, or one again through inheritance, but the others all through affirmative action, and all through sort of gender quotas. And I'm thinking, well, gee, they're all getting paid more than me. But it's interesting to look back. There's one other that I'll mention. She was really hot, and we'd only dated like, half a dozen times, and she insisted, like, I have to know now if you want to marry me. I said, well, you get in. We've only dated half a dozen times. He's really determined to sort of get married, and then I said, no, well, look, if that's what you want, this quickly, and then I'm probably not your guy. So anyway, so a few weeks go by, and she's engaged to this guy whose family own this chain of like cafes, and they're also into gymnasiums and things like that. So she marries him. They have one kid, and it ends up she divorces him and gets the chain of gymnasiums as part of the divorce settlement, plus the child support. So I probably dodged a bullet on that one, but I saw her not a while ago, and she's obviously doing serious time in the gym. Tight fitting, sexy. She still looks really good and really sexy, but there's something that she now has got that look of a I don't know, a sort of an animal that goes out hunting prey. He's got that look. Oh shit! So yeah, that's it. So that's my little sort of rundown memory lane on that. But what are the odds of dating several women? The same guy dating several women, all of whom turned into, due to affirmative action, all of whom turned into multi-millionaire, CEOs and vice presidents and the like. You've been a task us today. You're a Pushback Channel. Thank you for listening.